Greetings folks, it's Skiz Fernando. Welcome back to another edition of Pan Asian. And since we are right in the middle of spring right now, with summer right around the corner, it's time to shed some of that winter weight and get back into shape. So I thought we'd start it off on the good foot with a vegetarian dish, since I've also been getting a lot of requests for more vegetarian recipes on Pan Asian. Now, previously we made a mixed vegetable curry from North India, so today I thought we'd take a trip to South India and make a mixed vegetable curry. It's actually called vegetable Kurma, and it's from this cookbook right here called Healthy South Indian Cooking, which is another Hippocratic book. The recipe itself is pretty easy, but there's a lot of ingredients involved and a lot of prep. So without further ado, let's get right into it, all right? I'm gonna show you how to make this dish in your very own kitchen. All right, follow me. Okay, for starters, I've got half a cup of fresh ground coconut, which you can get at any Asian or Indian store. The recipe calls for 1 green chili pepper, but feel free to use as many as you like. I'm using 4 here. The recipe also calls for 12 raw almonds, but unfortunately I didn't have any, so I'm using cashew nuts here. 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds, 2 thick slices of fresh ginger root, which has been peeled, 1 tablespoon of roasted chickpeas, which I got at my local Indian store, 2 tablespoons of canola oil, and I'm actually using olive oil, 6 to 8 fresh curry leaves, which you can get at any Indian store. Also, Whole Foods carries them these days. 1 dry bay leaf, 3 or 4 slivers of cinnamon sticks, 1 cup of chopped onion, and I'm using red onions here, 1 cup of chopped tomato, and I'm actually using canned San Marzano tomatoes, 2 cups peeled and cubed Idaho potato, comes to about 1 large potato, half a cup of peeled and thinly sliced carrots, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon of raw curry powder, and of course I have to use my own blend, Skiz's original, half a cup of green peas, and I'm using frozen ones here, 1 cup of cauliflower florets, half a teaspoon of salt, and finally half a cup of chopped fresh cilantro leaves. Okay, you ready to get started? For the first step, you're going to require your trusty blender. And we're going to combine the coconut, the green chilies, the cashews, 1 teaspoon of the cumin seeds, a half teaspoon of the fennel seeds, the ginger root slices, and the roasted chickpeas. And just to make that grind a little easier, we're going to add 2 cups of warm water. Follow me so far? All right, for the next step, we're going to head over to the stove top. As always, we start when the pan is hot, and we're going to add our 2 tablespoons of oil. Kind of just swirl it around the pan a little bit. And next, we're going to add our curry leaves, the bay leaf, the cinnamon sticks, the remainder of the cumin, remainder of the fennel. We're just going to quickly brown those spices. And already they're just releasing a ton of flavor into this oil. And we don't want to burn them. So we just quickly stir fry them, and then we'll add the onion. Work that into the mix a little, and also our tomatoes. Now we're just going to cook that down till the onions are a little translucent. Next, we're going to add the potatoes. And the carrots. These will take the longest to cook, so that's why we're adding them first. And we're just going to work that into the mix. Make sure all the ingredients are well incorporated. And we're also going to add our turmeric powder. Adds a great color to this dish. At this time, we're also going to add our teaspoon of raw curry powder. And make sure that's incorporated. Okay, we're ready to add the cauliflower and the peas. And every time you add something, just make sure you incorporate it with the other ingredients, like so. And now our blended ingredients. I'm going to mix all these ingredients together. And at this point, the recipe calls for 2 cups of warm water. But it seems like we have enough liquid here. So I'm just going to add about another cup of water. And we want to just let this cook down, bring it to a boil so all these chunky vegetables can cook through. Once you bring this to a boil, you can add the salt and also the chopped cilantro leaves. And actually, I made a mistake when I was doing this recipe. I put all the tomatoes at once, but you're supposed to put half a cup first and the remaining half a cup now. But wow, this is really smelling amazing. And we're just going to cook this down for about 10 minutes so the vegetables can cook. And you can cover it while you do that. And here we are, 10 minutes later, and the dish looks to be about done. And there it is, folks. Vegetable kurma. A South Indian dish here on Pan Asian. And as you can see, I'm eating it with a little steamed basmati rice. And I'm just going to dig in right here. Looks great, smells great. And you know, one thing I realized after the fact is that with all the ingredients this dish has, there's no garlic in it. So anyway, let's see how it tastes. It looks amazing, all these vegetables, it's so, it just looks like spring. Wow, so many flavors going on here. Cumin, the cinnamon, the curry leaves, the ginger. All the vegetables are really tender. And so the cilantro adds a nice touch to it too. Wow, that's good. And as you can see, it's a pretty hearty vegetarian dish too. It's almost like a stew. And you know, next time I might try to put a little garlic in here as well, because I personally love garlic. And I might put a few more green chilies in next time too. But this is a great vegetarian dish from an equally great cookbook. Healthy South Indian cooking. I love South Indian food. It's mostly vegetarian. And if I could cook like this every day, I would probably be a vegetarian. But I do like my meat too. Anyway, I'm going to dig right back into this, and I will see you next time on the next Pan Asian. Until then, this is Skiz Fernando signing out.